Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover of a Hymer B-Class 564. So starting the walk around on the driver's side of the vehicle first, using the Hymer key, which is your blue key here, you'll be able to unlock all your locker doors, including your habitation door. So the first locker we get to is your gas locker. So this will take 2 bottles. Currently we have our test bottle on to test the appliance. And to get your bottles in and out, you can drop this so that there's no lip, and you'll be able to slide your bottle straight in. Once you've got your bottle on board, use the strap behind and strap the bottle in. So feed it through, pull it round, strap the bottle in. And then what you want to do is you want to connect your pigtail. So to connect your pigtail, which is the black pipe that goes to your regulator, it's a left-hand thread. So opposite threads with it being gas, and all you need to do is hand tighten it. So you don't need a spanner. And then you turn the gas cylinder on and off from the top of the bottle, always making sure that you do turn the cylinder off before you do start traveling. And then if you carry a spare bottle, once one indicates that it's empty, you can just take the pigtail off and swap it to the other bottle. So that's your gas locker. The habitation door opens with the key, like I've said, and inside you've got this step switch here. Always retract your step before you do start the engine, because it won't retract on a Hymer. When the engine starts, it'll just buzz, which means you've left your step out. So come and press the button and retract the step. You've got some storage underneath, so you've got a little compartment here, but it is through loading, so you can put your deck chairs, your table, your flat stuff in the middle. Fridge vents, you've got your awning there, which I'll show you in a minute. Truma vent for your boiler, so this gives the location of where the boiler is located on board the vehicle. You've got your weight sticker here, so currently the vehicle is 3.9 tonne with a 5.5 tonne train weight, so that is the vehicle and whatever you're towing can't exceed 5.5 tonne. And then you've got your front and back axle weights. In the back here you've got your carpets. We do have a bit more storage. There's a spare wheel there just to the right hand side. There's a full-size spare wheel. And you've got your awning winding handle, so we'll show you your awning. So this is your handle that you need to use, and it needs to clip on to the front of the vehicle. So clips on to this hook here, and then you can wind the awning out. So wind it out until you can reach inside of the canopy. So you want to put your hands in the front here. And then you've got 2 legs. So pull at the front, pull at the top. And you'll be able to pull the leg down. And then loosen the nut off. And you'll be able to adjust the telescopic height of your awning and tighten when you're happy with the height of it. Get one leg down first, then the other. Just the height. And then wind it and walk the awning out until you're happy. And then you can peg your feet down. But don't use your awning if the wind speeds are higher than 15 miles an hour, and never leave the awning out unattended. So if you go out for the night, if you go out for the day even, if you go to bed on an evening, bring the awning in. Don't leave it out, because it can damage your vehicle or another person's vehicle, and that's not what you want. And then you just clip your awning, legs back flat. So we'll push them in. And then you can wind the awning back in, and that is the awning. So as we continue the walk round of the rest of the vehicle, so above your garage locker you do have your mains hookup point. So to hook the vehicle up, you need to get your hookup lead. So this is your mains lead, and always hook the van up first. So lift the flap, lift the collar on the lead, slide it on, hook the motorhome first, then the sight, and do it in reverse order when unhooking, so that you're never walking around with a live lead. And that is lockable with the key. At the back of the vehicle you've got your high level brake light, and just underneath that you've got a reversing camera. And then this is your bike rack. So what you need to do is put your bike wheels in the rail. So you've got 3 rails. And you've got arms, so you've got the first bike and the last bike. So people have just carried 2 bikes on this rack. Put these through your crossbars, and then what I would recommend is you put some sort of bike lock around the bikes and around the bike rack frame, just so that if you do leave the vehicle unattended, the bikes are nice and safe on the back. Underneath here you've got your other end of your through load and storage, but you do have your waste pipe here. So this waste pipe is anything that you've put down a plug hole, so shower water, dishes water and hand basin water, and anything else you've drained off. On the way out of your site, if you're not on a super pitch, what you can do is you can pull over the grid waste disposal point and use the grey lever just at the back here, open it, and you'll see there that it's draining off the water. If you're on a super site or you can't get near it, this pipe connects to the end of that and then gives you a little bit more length to get it to the gully or the grate on the back of your site, and you can leave it open. But you've also got in here 2 blue toggles, so you turn these and you see there water starts draining off. These drain off the hot water lines and the cold water lines, so you need to open them, and that's just any water that's sitting in any pipelines when winterizing the vehicle, where you want to drain off all the water. You'd open these, and of course you drain this off as well, as you wouldn't want the water to freeze in the waste. Above you've got your cassette toilet, so this is your cassette toilet. So to operate your cassette, when emptying it, you need to lift the yellow toggle, slide the cassette out of the vehicle, carry it to your waste chemical disposal point, which is normally beside your toilet block. Remove the cap, press the yellow button when emptying, tip it out. Once you've tipped the cassette out, pop some water in there. There's normally a tap beside the disposal point. Give it a rinse, tip out again, and then you want to go in with a cap full of chemicals. So it's 120 millilitres in the cap. Fill that with either the green or the blue and tip it into here, and then put the cassette back into the vehicle, and you can then use the toilet again. You do have a bit of storage in here for extra chemical, toilet rolls, whatever you want, you can pop in the back of there. In this locker here you do have some storage, which I've already shown you from the other side. And you do have your leisure battery, so it's a Numax leisure battery, which is 105 amp hours. And you do have the main battery fuses here, so you've got one 40 amp fuse and one 20 amp fuse there on the battery. And then on the side of the van you do have your freshwater intake. So this is where you fill the vehicle with water. So go and buy yourself a hose pipe, as on site it'll just be a brass tap. So you'll need the screw on end and you'll need the hose lock end, and then put the flat end into the van. Wait until it either overflows, which means you've got a full tank of water, or you can check on the control panel. It'll go up in a gauge and it'll show you how much water you've got on board at any one time. In the cab, you do have your bonnet release. So your bonnet release for the bonnet is just above the clutch pedal. So if you lift that, you'll be able to pop the bonnet. And then to fill the vehicle with diesel, it's just here, and you need to use the Hymer key with it being an A class. So Hymer key, pop it onto there, turn it, and then you can pop your diesel filler into there and fill with fuel. And then pull the bonnet open. You've got your engine battery, so positive at the back, negative at the front if you ever need to jump start it. You've got your brake fluid reservoir, your power steering tank, your oil filler here, and dipstick for checking the levels just there. Alco weight plate, as it's on an Alco chassis, which is exactly the same as the Hymer weight plate on the beside the door. And then you do have your screen wash, which is the main one you're going to need here, and then you've got your coolant. So to operate the Hymer control panel, so if you're hooked up, in the top right hand corner you'll get 230 volt and a picture of a plug, which means you are receiving 230 volt so you can work mains household appliances. If you don't have this, you will just have 12 volt off your leisure battery. So to turn your 12 volt on and off, it's just the bottom left hand switch. So 12 volt off, 12 volt on. One above it is your water, so you can see that you've got 0 waste but 50% of fresh water on board. You can view your leisure battery readings. So there's 42 amp hours there, and it's currently drawing 1.7 amp off the battery. Press it again and you can view the voltage of them. So you can view 13.9 on the engine, 14.2 on the habitation battery, leisure battery. So take the hookup out to get a true reading of your batteries, because the hookup does give you a false reading. You've got the time at the top and the temperatures, and then you've got the menu there, so you can adjust the time on the right hand side. To operate the Truma CP digital control panel, which is your heating and hot water, you press and hold to turn on and off, and then you press once to get into the menu. In the top left hand corner you've got a thermometer in a motorhome flashing. This is the temperature of the inside of the motorhome, so this is how hot you want the inside to get. So all the way to 30 or all the way to off, it's up to you. And then simply all you need to do is press enter, and it will preset the thermostat to whatever you've set. So there it's set it to 30 degrees. And then moving on, you've got water with a thermometer in. This is how hot you want your water. So make sure that you have got water on board first of all, and your boiler is closed. Otherwise it is just like boiling a kettle without any water, and you're going to burn the element out. So you've got off, you've got eco, which is 40 degrees of heating your water. You've got hot, which is 60 degrees of heating your water. And then you've got boost, which will turn off the heating and prioritize the water first. So for this we'll just say hot, which is 60 degrees. And then moving on, you've got a gas bottle and electricity signs. This is what source you're heating the water, the vehicle, or both off. So you've got gas on its own. If you're wild camping, you would have no other source available bar gas. You've got a mixture 1, which is 750 watts of electric and gas. You've got mixture 2, which is 1500 watts of electric and gas. So you'd use this more in the winter if you were in desperate need to heat the vehicle or you were in desperate need of water. And then if you were on a site, you'd use EL, which is electric. So you've got EL1, which is electric on 750 watts. And you've got EL2, which is 1500 watts of electric. So on most bigger sites you can use EL2, on some smaller sites you may have to use EL1. And then if you're really cold, turn it to mix 2. Both sources together will take about 10 minutes to heat the vehicle and the water. And then what you would do is, once it's to a decent temperature, turn it off and just allow the electric to continue to heat the vehicle so that you're not wasting your gas. So for this we'll just say mix 2. And then you do have your fan, so you can have an eco, high or boost. Eco takes a smaller feed of 12 volt, and you'd sleep with it on eco because it's a lot quieter. High, obviously fan speed's a lot higher, pushes it right round the vehicle to get the vehicle warm as quick as it can. And then you've got boost, which will obviously just blast the heat around the vehicle. And then in the bottom left you've got a timer, so you can time it to come on and off, time the clock to come on, and so this is just a clock. If it changes the time, when the time changes, it can change the display time. And then should you get a warning triangle in the middle, you'd go to settings, which is the spanner in the bottom right, go to reset, press enter, press preset, and then what it'll do is it'll restart this control panel, so you'll be able to select each individual source, heat and temperature, water, energy source, fan speed, all again. Like so. And then to turn off, just press and hold for about 5 to 10 seconds. So you've got 3 gas burners on your hob with a little ignition here. So make sure your bottle's turned on and you'll be able to light them. Like so. And there's 3 lit rings on the hob. Once you've had them on, if you do allow them to cool until they're cool enough to leave your hand on them before you put the glass lid down, otherwise you can shatter the lid if it's too warm. And then underneath, lifting the catch and open the door, and you do have a grill. So to operate your oven and grill, you will need a lighter of some sort, as there is no built-in ignition on the oven and grill. So you just need to light when you turn in the valve to either put the grill on, which the grill's on now, or you can go down to the oven and then yeah. There you are, and there's your oven away at the back. And that's how you would light your oven and your grill. This is just showing that your hot water system's working and that your water system is working as it should, as the water's getting hot on the hot there and is working fine on the cold there as well. So you don't need to turn the pump on the Hymers. There's an inbuilt micro switch to every tap, so as long as the control panel's on and the 12 volts turned on, go and either flush your toilet or open the tap and the water should come through as long as the boiler is closed. Above the fridge you do have a 230 volt socket, a 12 volt point, but you will need the adapter as it's a continental 12 volt, so it's a lot smaller than the standard 12 volt. So get an adapter from your caravan shops, go outdoors, pop it into there and you'll be able to use the standard 12 volt. We do have a Vision Plus TV aerial, so you can min-max the signal here should it be too strong or too weak, but just look for what colour the LED is. LED is shown green, which means that there is a good enough signal, so then you just need to retune your TV every time you move site. To operate your Dometic fridge freezer, which is 3-way, This is your source selector, so it's off at the top. Going down, you've got gas, so you'd use gas if you were wild camping, as you'd have no other way of cooling your fridge and your freezer than using gas, because you're not hooked up. But then if you were hooked up, either pre-chilling the fridge at home or on a site, you'd use 230 volts. So scroll down again, and that will act as a household fridge freezer on 230 mains power. And then you've got 12 volt. So this is not off the leisure battery. The leisure battery cannot power a fridge freezer. It's off the engine. When the engine is running, the 12 volt setting will keep the temperature of the fridge freezer the same as when you started the engine to when you turned the engine off and went back to 12 volt, or should I say from 12 volt to gas or mains 30 volt. So basically, if you're moving from one site to another, pop it on to 12 volt and it'll keep your shopping nice and fresh. But pre-chill it at home beforehand. Pop your shopping in about the night before, allow that to chill for a good 8 to 10 hours, and then pop it onto 12 volt, and when you drive to your site, your shopping should stay nice and fresh. So it'll act as a giant cool box basically. Or you can pop it onto auto, and what auto does is it picks the best source that it has available. So it'll go to hook up. If you're hooked up, it'll go to 12 volt if the engine starts, or it'll go to gas when you're not hooked up. But please note that it'll wait 20 minutes before lighting on gas once the engine is turned off, just in case you do happen to have left your gas on and you're pulling in for fuel. It's a safety feature, so what you need to do is just manually select gas, which will be turning this to the gas. You've got your frame heater there, so it stops the doors from getting stuck to the frame when the fridge is on, so you can pop that on. And then here you do have your temperature. Travel catches, so you can lock them by turning them this way, and it's locked when traveling. And then you can pull them and you can open your fridge and your freezer. Take everything out when not using it, but then leave the doors open. So if you just put your catches onto the lock, that'll happen, and it'll mean that you can leave the doors open and ventilation will get in and out the fridge freezer to stop smells from forming in the fridge and making your van smell. So underneath the hatch, as you come in the habitation door, just underneath your table in your dining area, if you take the cap off, this is your freshwater tank, and in here you've got a chain which has got a plug on. So to drain off your water, say you've taken on contaminated water, or you're wanting to just drain it off because you're not using it, or you're winterizing it, pull the plug out and the water will drain directly out underneath the vehicle. And you always want to make sure that this tank is fully drained down in the winter so that no water can freeze in the tank. In the wardrobe area, so you've got your TV Vision Plus booster there. This is your aerial. So if that's shown green, you don't need to move the aerial. If it's shown any other colour, then you may need to move the aerial if the booster's not bringing it up to green. So if it's not, you've got to loosen the nut off, push the stem up and use the toggle to direct the aerial on the roof. But look where your other motorhomes and caravans are pointing, point yours in a similar direction, and you should get a good enough strength for your tele signal. But then before you do start travelling, pull it back in and tighten the nut up to stop the stem from getting pulled up and caused any damage with the wind when travelling. So you've got your wardrobe here, so you've got a light, you've got a shoe horn which also doubles up as an aid for helping open the skylights, so that just pops on there. So pull that out because that's just a stopper, pull that out, pop that on, turn it, push it up. It'll help you open and close your skylights if you're struggling to reach. With the blackout blind, so that's on there. lives in the wardrobe. This is your boiler. So your boiler does two jobs. Obviously heats the vehicle, air blown, heats the water. So in the winter, it's very important that you drain the water off, because this holds 10 litres of water at any one time. So it's very important that you drain it off. And to drain it off, what you need to do is lift this toggle here, so yellow toggle, lift it up, stand it up on end, and the water will drain directly out underneath the chassis. That'll mean that the 10 litres goes to zero. It's completely empty. Then you would leave all your taps open throughout the motorhome. So your kitchen tap, your shower tap, your hand basin tap. Leave it open in the middle position of the mixer. And then obviously open the waste outside. Drain off your lines. And then when you come to reuse it, shut your boiler. So lie that back down. Lie it down like it is now. Shut your taps, shut your waste, shut your lines, fill the vehicle with cold water. Come in, put the control panel on, go to the cold side of the tap first. You'll get an automatic pressurised feed of cold water. Go to the hot side, it'll cough, splutter, make strange noises for the first couple of minutes until the boiler starts filling. So all it's doing is it's filling the boiler as soon as you go to the hot side until you get a free flow of water from the hot side. This is when you know that your system is then primed. Once you've done one tap, do them all and you're good to go. And you do have in here your trips on mains electric as well. So if your vehicle trips, try here before you try your main site. In the washroom, you've got your bathroom light here. And then your main light does have an individual switch on it. But to operate your toilet, all you need to do is press the blue button, which is your fresh water flush for flushing the toilet. So you can press that, flush the toilet. Always flush it and put a small amount of water in before you use the toilet, because it lubricates the seal between the top of the toilet and the top of the cassette. And then you want to open the blade, which is just this grey lever here. So slide that to the right towards you. You can now use the toilet because everything's going to go into the cassette. Flush it after use. So give it a flush. If you've bought any pink in the pack, in the twin pack with the blue, what you can do is you can put it into a spray bottle and dilute it with some water, spray the bowl, flush, and then once you've finished using the toilet, slide this back to the left and close the blade. Which means when the cassette's full, it'll indicate here with a red light, and then you'll be able to pull the cassette out and empty it if the blade's shut. So doing it in that routine means you'll always be able to get it out once it's full. If you want to leave it open, you can't get the cassette out. Toiletry cabinet there. Some toiletry cabinet here and some space there for some toiletries. And then you do have your shower and your shower screens there, which are just magnetic. So this is how we would make your lounge into a bed. So the little cushion that goes here, which is this one, which is your backrest, you don't need that, so take that out the way. Put your backrests from there in the back and pull the base cushions forward. And then to push the table down, put your foot on this and put your full weight on the pedal and push the table down, and you'll be able to make the bed up. So that goes there, that would go there, and that one would sit on there, and that's how your lounge would go. So them two cushions, that one you don't need, them forward, and then all you need to do is put your weight on the pedal and push this down, but remove the two base cushions first so you can push it down. And then you do have your drop down bed above the cab. So to pull the bed down above the cab, you need to drop the seats. So slide these forward with the grey levers on the outer of both seats. take the seatbelt off and slide it down, and there you do have a full-size double bed with privacy curtains, and then the ladder just clips on here and you can situate that where you want it along the front of the bed.